fluorescent lights in the Siam Fertility Center buzz overhead as I sign my name for the 15th time. My hand cramps, but I keep going. Niran Srichan, Niran Srichan, Niran Srichan. Each signature is worth approximately $5,000 if I do the math correctly. 80,000 total. Enough to wipe out my father's medical debt and maybe finally let me breathe. Just 3 more pages, Kun Niran, the lawyer says, sliding another document across the mahogany table. Her smile is professional, detached. She's done this before. I haven't. My stomach twists as I read Clause 17. The surrogate agrees to relinquish all parental rights upon birth and will have no further contact with the child or children unless otherwise agreed upon by all parties. Children, plural, because they're implanting 2 embryos to increase success rates. I pick up the pen. Sign again. The door opens and they walk in. Kiet Afachat looks exactly like his photo, tall, broad-shouldered, with the kind of sharp jawline that belongs in magazines. His suit probably costs more than my monthly rent. Everything about him screams control, from his perfectly styled hair to the way he assesses me like I'm a piece of furniture he's considering purchasing. Next to him, Maya smiles warmly. She's beautiful in that effortless way rich people are, her silk blouse catching the light. You must be Niran. Thank you so much for doing this. I nod, keeping my expression neutral. It's a job. Kiet's eyes narrow slightly. A job with significant physical and emotional demands. We want to make sure you understand the commitment. I'm a labor and delivery nurse, I say flatly. I've probably delivered more babies than you've seen in your entire life. I understand the commitment. Maya's smile falters. Kiet's expression hardens. Good, let them know this isn't some emotional fairy tale. I'm not doing this out of the goodness of my heart. I'm doing it because the hospital is garnishing my wages. And I'm 3 months behind on rent. We appreciate your experience, Maya says carefully, shooting Kiet a look. We just want to make sure we're all on the same page. Page 1, you pay me. Page 2, I carry your baby. Page 3, I hand over said baby and we never see each other again. I tap the contract. It's all right here in legally binding language. Anything else? Kiet leans forward. Yes, we expect weekly updates. Adherence to all prenatal guidelines. No alcohol, no excessive physical activity. Attendance at all scheduled appointments. I'm a medical professional, not an idiot, I interrupt. I know how pregnancy works. Kiet, darling, I'm sure Kun Niran knows what he's doing, Maya says softly, placing a hand on his arm. He doesn't look away from me. I just want to be clear about expectations. Crystal clear, I say, meeting his stare. You're paying for a service. I'm providing it. No emotional attachment. No complications. No drama. Simple. The lawyer clears her throat. If everyone's in agreement, we can proceed with the medical screening and scheduling. 3 weeks later, I'm lying on an examination table with my legs in stirrups while Dr. Pornthip performs the embryo transfer. Kiet and Maya wait outside, clinic policy. I'm grateful for the privacy. This might feel uncomfortable, Dr. Pornthip warns. It does, but I've been through worse. All done, she says cheerfully. Now we wait 2 weeks for the pregnancy test. Try to relax and take it easy. I almost laugh. Take it easy. I have a 12-hour shift tonight. The 2 weeks crawl by. I try not to think about it, but my hand keeps drifting to my stomach during quiet moments at work. There's nothing there yet. Probably nothing at all. First-time IVF success rates are only about 40%. The blood test comes back positive. I stare at the number on the lab report. HCG levels indicating pregnancy. Possibly multiples. My phone rings. Kiet's name flashes on the screen. The clinic called, he says without preamble. You're pregnant. I know, I can read my own test results. We'd like to schedule the first ultrasound as soon as possible. I'm free next Thursday afternoon. We'll be there. He pauses. Thank you. The words sound foreign in his mouth, like he's not used to saying them. Just doing my job, I remind him and hang up. The ultrasound room is too quiet. Maya sits in the corner, scrolling through her phone. Kiet stands rigid next to the examination table, staring at the monitor like it might reveal the secrets of the universe. Dr. Pornthip moves the wand across my stomach. Let's see what we have here. The screen flickers. One blob, then another. Twins, she announces happily. Both with strong heartbeats. Congratulations. Maya looks up sharply. Kiet's breath catches. I close my eyes. Of course it's twins. 2? Maya's voice sounds strange. Are you sure? Very sure, Dr. Pornthip confirms. Both embryos implanted successfully. This is actually wonderful news. Healthy twins are... How much does this change the compensation? I interrupt. The room goes cold. Kiet's jaw tightens. Seriously? That's your first question? It's a legitimate business question, I shoot back. The contract specifies additional compensation for multiples. We'll honor the contract, Maya says quickly. Of course we will. Dr. Pornthip prints out the ultrasound photos, tactfully ignoring the tension. I'll see you back in 4 weeks. In the meantime, prenatal vitamins, plenty of rest, and call if you have any concerns. Outside the clinic, Kiet catches my arm. Can we talk? Pull away. About what? You're carrying our children. Doesn't that mean anything to you? It means I take the vitamins, show up to appointments, and deliver 2 healthy babies in approximately 8 months. That's what it means. His eyes search my face. You're really this cold about it? I'm realistic about it. You wanted a transaction. This is a transaction. They're human beings, he says quietly. They're your human beings, I correct. I'm just the oven. Maya appears beside us, slightly breathless. Kiet, we should go. I have a meeting at 3. He doesn't move, still watching me with an expression I can't read. Congratulations on your twins, I say, stepping back. See you next month. I walk to my motorcycle, hands shaking as I put on my helmet. Inside my jacket, the ultrasound photo crinkles against my chest. 2 tiny blobs that will become whole people. I refuse to think about it. The first 3 months pass in a blur of morning sickness, exhaustion, and increasingly awkward appointments. Kiet always arrives exactly on time, armed with questions from pregnancy books. Maya's attendance becomes spotty. Work emergencies, she explains apologetically. Month 4, she doesn't show up at all. Kiet sits in her usual chair, wedding ring conspicuously absent from his left hand. Where's your wife? I ask. Fiancée, he corrects stiffly. And she had a conflict. Right. Conflict. I study his face. You're a terrible liar. My personal life is none of your concern. These are your babies, I say, surprised by my own intensity. Make it my concern or find another surrogate. He stands abruptly. I'll see you next month. Kiet. But he's already gone. I sit alone in the examination room, hand pressed against my growing belly where 2 hearts beat steadily beneath my palm. For the first time since this started, I feel afraid. Something is very, very wrong. The knocking starts at 11:30 at night. I'm half asleep on the couch, one hand resting on my 5-month belly, when the desperate pounding on my apartment door jolts me awake. My heart hammers as I check the peephole. Maya. Her mascara streaks down her face like war paint. Her expensive heels dangle from one hand. She looks nothing like the polished woman who sat in that clinic 4 months ago. I open the door. What happened? She pushes past me into my tiny living room and the words tumble out in a broken rush. I can't do this. I'm so sorry, Niran, I can't. I never wanted children. I thought I did because Kiet wanted them so badly. But I don't. I can't be a mother. I'm leaving him. I've already signed the papers. My blood runs cold. What papers? Termination of parental rights. My lawyer filed them yesterday. She's crying now. Ugly sobs that shake her whole body. I know the timing is horrible. I know you're all ready, but I can't live a lie anymore. I stare at her, my hand instinctively protective over my stomach. You're walking away. Right now, while I'm carrying your children. I'll still pay my half of the surrogacy fee, she says desperately. I'll transfer it tomorrow. You'll get everything we promised. I can't be their mother. Something hot and furious rises in my chest. Get out! Niran, please understand. Get out! The words rip from my throat. You don't get to do this. You don't get to decide this now. She flees, leaving me alone with the echo of my own rage and 2 babies, who just lost half their parents. I sink onto the couch, shaking. My phone is in my hand before I realize what I'm doing. Kiet's number stares back at me. I don't call. 3 days later, Kiet's lawyer contacts me. The news is worse than I imagined. The surrogacy contract has a clause designed to protect both intended parents that requires mutual agreement to proceed. If one parent withdraws, the agreement becomes void unless both the surrogate and the remaining parent consent to continue. Maya's departure triggered an automatic legal review, and somehow impossibly Kiet lost. A recorded argument between him and Maya, taken out of context. A family court judge with outdated views on single alpha fathers. His lawyer's incompetence. It all culminated in a temporary suspension of his parental rights pending further review. The ruling is clear. I, as the biological carrier, now have sole legal custody of the twins I'm carrying. I can choose adoption. I can choose to keep them, or I can fight to restore Kiet's rights. The decision is entirely mine. I'm still processing this when Kiet appears at my door at 11 p.m., drenched from the rain, looking like his world has ended. Because it has. They're my children, he says, voice raw. My DNA, Your mess, I cut him off. Your failed relationship. Your problem. Please, the word breaks on his lips. I know I have no right to ask, but please don't cut me out. I'll pay double, triple, whatever you think this is about money. I'm shouting now. Hand pressed against my belly where his children are kicking. You people hired me to be an incubator, and now you're shocked that I have legal rights? That's not how I see you, he says desperately. Isn't it? Every single appointment you looked at my stomach, never my face. You talked to them, never to me. I was just a womb with legs. That's not true. Every word is true, and you know it. My voice cracks. Get out, Kiet. I need to think. He stands there in my doorway, rain dripping onto my floor, looking more lost than any person I've ever seen. Please, he whispers again. I close the door in his face. He doesn't stop. Groceries appear on my doorstep, exactly the foods I've been craving. The apartment building's broken elevator suddenly gets repaired. My father's remaining medical bills, the ones still haunting me, are mysteriously paid off. 2 weeks after the court ruling, I confront him in the hospital parking lot after my shift. Stop it, I demand. Stop showing up at my appointments. Stop the gifts. I didn't ask for any of this. I know, he says quietly, but they're still my children. I don't know how to not care. You lost your rights. Legally, they're not yours anymore. His face crumples. Legally. But they're still half me. I can feel them, Niran. When they move, when they're active, it's like their heartbeats are connected to mine, even when I'm not near you. That's impossible, I say, but my voice wavers. I know it is, but it's happening. He steps closer. Last Tuesday at 3 a.m., did you wake up because they were kicking? My breath catches. I did. Lucky guess. Yesterday afternoon around 2 o'clock, did one of them hiccup? The hiccups lasted 10 minutes. I was in the middle of a patient consultation. Stop, I whisper. I can't. His eyes are desperate. It's not something I can control. It started after the ultrasound where we heard their heartbeats. It's like some part of me bonded to them and distance doesn't matter. This is insane. Alpha Omega bonds don't work like this. We're not even mated. We're barely civil to each other. You need to leave me alone, I say, but it sounds weak even to my ears. I can't, he repeats, even if I wanted to. Month 6 hits me like a truck. I'm at home, grading some nursing students' papers for extra cash, when the headache starts, then the dizziness, then my vision blurs at the edges. I check my blood pressure with my home monitor. 160/19, dangerous, pre-eclampsia territory. I'm reaching for my phone when the cramping starts. Sharp, vicious pain that doubles me over. My phone clatters to the floor. No. It's too early. 6 months is too early. I'm crawling toward my phone when my apartment door crashes open. Kiet stands there wild-eyed and panicked. What's wrong? I felt something's wrong. How did you? Another cramp cuts off my words. He's across the room in seconds, phone already at his ear. Ambulance, now, pregnant Omega, 26 weeks, high blood pressure and abdominal pain. He scoops me up like I weigh nothing, and I'm too scared to protest. The ride to the hospital is a blur of red lights and Kiet's hand gripping mine so hard it hurts. Stay with me, he keeps saying. Stay with me, Niran. The babies will be fine. You're all going to be fine. In the ER, doctors swarm. Monitors beep. Someone starts an IV. Through it all, Kiet refuses to leave, arguing with nurses until they give up and let him stay. Braxton Hicks contractions, the doctor finally announces, combined with stress-induced hypertension. The babies are fine, but we need to manage your blood pressure. I'm recommending strict bed rest. Relief makes me dizzy. They're okay. Both heartbeats are strong, she confirms. But you need to take care of yourself. Khun Niran, do you have someone who can help you? I open my mouth to say no. Kiet squeezes my hand. He does. After the doctor leaves, I turn to him. How did you know? How did you know I was in trouble? I told you. I felt it. He looks exhausted. It was like someone grabbed my chest and squeezed. I knew it was you. I knew you needed me. That's not scientifically possible. I know. He manages a weak smile. But here we are anyway. I stare at our joined hands. When did that happen? And feel something crack in the walls I've built. You can stay, I hear myself say. Tonight, In case it happens again? Okay, he says softly. Okay. Neither of us mentions that he's still holding my hand. Neither of us lets go. The apartment across from mine has been empty for 3 months. Not anymore. I watch through my peephole as Kiet moves furniture in. A bed, a small couch, boxes of what looks like his entire life compressed into a space, barely bigger than a closet. When he catches me staring, I don't look away. What are you doing? I ask, opening my door. Moving in, he says simply, carrying another box past me. I didn't agree to this. I'm not asking for permission. He sets the box down, meets my eyes. I'm telling you I'm staying. The doctor said bed rest. You live alone. Someone needs to be here. I've been taking care of myself since I was 16. I know. His voice softens. But you don't have to anymore. I want to argue. I want to slam my door and prove I don't need anyone. But my blood pressure monitor sits on the counter, and the babies are doing somersaults against my ribs, and I'm so tired of being strong all the time. Fine, I mutter. But I have rules. I'm listening. No hovering. No treating me like I'm fragile. And absolutely no talking about feelings. A smile tugs at his lips. Deal. The routine develops slowly, against my will. Kiet brings breakfast every morning, always something. I've been craving before I even mention it. He works from his laptop at my kitchen table while I grade papers on the couch. He cooks dinner, and I criticize his technique even though everything tastes better than anything I've made in years. You're adding too much fish sauce, I say, watching him stir-fry vegetables. You said you liked it salty. There's salty and there's ocean water. That's ocean water. He tastes it, makes a face. Okay, you might be right. I'm always right. I'm a medical professional. You're also incredibly bossy. It's one of my best qualities. He laughs and the sound does something strange to my chest. At night, he reads pregnancy books in his apartment across the hall. I can hear him sometimes through the thin walls. His voice a low murmur as he talks to someone on the phone. His lawyer, I assume, about the upcoming court hearing. 2 weeks until they decide if he gets to be a father. 2 weeks until I have to testify. I still haven't decided what I'll say. It's 3 in the morning when I find him on my balcony. I couldn't sleep. The babies never stop moving anymore, and my mind won't quiet. Through the window, I see Kiet sitting on the rusty chair, head in his hands. I slide the door open. Can't sleep either? He looks up, startled. Did I wake you? The tiny humans using my bladder as a soccer ball woke me. I lower myself carefully into the other chair. What's your excuse? Thinking. About the hearing? He nods. What if the judge says no? What if his voice breaks. What if I never get to be their father? You already are their father, I say quietly. Biology doesn't lie, but the law might. He stares out at the Bangkok skyline, lights twinkling like fallen stars. My dad left when I was 5, just walked out one day and never came back. I swore I'd never do that to my own children. I'd be present, involved, everything he wasn't. You still can be. Not if I lose in court. His hands clench into fists. Not if you decide I don't deserve them. The words hang between us, heavy with truth. Is that what you think? I ask. That I'd take them from you out of spite? I don't know what to think anymore. He finally looks at me. You have every reason to hate me. I treated you like a transaction. I didn't see you as a person, just a means to an end. And now I'm asking you to trust me with the most important thing in the world. Something cracks open in my chest. You want to know why I agreed to this surrogacy? The money. You told us. That's part of it. But there's more. I take a shaky breath. My dad spent his last year in and out of hospitals. Every day I watched him fight to stay alive, and every day I felt helpless. When he died, the debt collectors started calling before we'd even held the funeral. Niran! I'm not looking for pity, I cut him off. I'm explaining. You asked why I'm cold about this. Why I don't let myself feel anything. It's because feeling things hurt. Loving people hurts. Everyone I've ever loved has left one way or another. I'm not leaving, he says fiercely. You say that now. But what happens when this gets hard? When they're screaming at 2 a.m. and you haven't slept in days? When being a parent isn't some beautiful dream but messy reality? Then we figure it out, together. We? The word catches in my throat. You said it yourself, I'm already their father. But you're not just carrying them. Niran, you're protecting them, nourishing them, talking to them when you think no one's listening. You're already their parent too. Tears burn my eyes. That wasn't the deal. Plans change. He reaches across the space between us, hesitates. Can I? I don't know what he's asking permission for until his hand rests gently on my belly. The babies immediately kick against his palm like they recognize him. They know you, I whisper. I know them too. This one, he moves his hand slightly, is always awake at night. And this one kicks when you eat spicy food. How do you know that? Because I pay attention. His eyes meet mine. To all of you, the hospital admission comes at 7 months. My blood pressure spikes dangerously high. The doctors insist on monitoring me around the clock. Kiet doesn't leave my side, sleeping in the uncomfortable hospital chair, arguing with doctors, bringing me smuggled street food when I complain about hospital meals. You're going to get in trouble, I warn as he unpacks pad thai. Worth it to see you smile. On the third night, I wake to hear him crying. He's in the hallway just outside my door, phone pressed to his ear. Please, please don't take them. Don't take him. The desperation in his voice breaks something in me. When he comes back in, eyes red, I don't pretend to be asleep. Come here, I say. He sits on the edge of the hospital bed. I take his hand. Stop trying to fix everything, I say. I can't just sit here and watch you struggle. Yes, you can. Because that's what love is. Being present even when you can't fix it. He freezes. Love? The word escaped before I could stop it. But now it's out there, true and terrifying. Don't make this weird, I mutter. You love me. His voice is wonder and hope and fear all tangled together. I love that you stayed. I love that you learned what foods I like. I love that you talk to them every night. My voice cracks. I love that you're not my dad who left. You're not my ex who quit. You're just you, and you stayed. He kisses me then. Soft, careful, like I'm something precious. When he pulls back, his eyes are bright with tears. The hearing is in 4 days. I know. Will you testify for me? I think about the babies growing inside me. I think about this man who learned my coffee order and fixed my elevator and held my hand through every scary moment. I think about the family we accidentally built. Yes, I whisper. I'll testify. He kisses me again, and this time I kiss back. And neither of us mentions that everything is about to change. For better or worse, we're in this together now. The courtroom is freezing, or maybe that's just my nerves. I sit in the wheelchair. Doctors. Orders at 8 months pregnant, watching. The judge review documents with excruciating slowness. Kiet sits 3 rows ahead, spine rigid, hands clenched in his lap. He hasn't looked back at me once. I don't blame him. Everything depends on what I say in the next hour. The court calls Niran to testify, the judge announces. Kiet's lawyer helps wheel me to the front. I catch Kiet's eyes as I pass. They're full of hope and terror in equal measure. The prosecutor stands, shuffling papers. Mr. Srichan, you entered into a surrogacy agreement with Mr. Kiet Afachat and Ms. Maya Jindarat, correct?
Yes.
And during the pregnancy, you developed romantic feelings for Mr. Kiet? My cheeks burn. Yes. Isn't it possible your testimony today is influenced by those feelings, rather than what's best for the children? I meet his stare head on. You're asking if I'm lying to help the man I love? No. I'm telling the truth because these babies deserve the truth. The prosecutor blinks, thrown off balance. Please explain. Kiet didn't lose his rights because he was unfit. He lost them because his ex-fiancée abandoned this pregnancy and the legal system punished him for her choices. I've watched him for 7 months. He knows their sleep patterns better than I do. He learned infant CPR and took parenting classes. He built 2 cribs for a nursery he thought he'd never use. My voice strengthens. He talks to them every single night. When I was hospitalized with complications, he didn't leave my side for 3 days. When I couldn't afford my medications, he paid for them anonymously. When I was terrified and alone, he stayed. But you were paid to carry these children, the prosecutor interrupts. Isn't this just... This stopped being about money the moment Maya left. I cut him off. It stopped being a transaction when Kiet showed me what a real father looks like. Not perfect, but present. Not powerful, but persistent. He stayed when he had every legal reason to walk away. The judge leans forward. Mr. Srichan, what role do you envision for yourself after these children are born? The question I've been dreading. I take a breath. I thought I'd hand them over and disappear. That was the plan. But plans change when you fall in love with the babies you're carrying. When you fall in love with their father. Kiet's breath catches audibly. I want to be in their lives, I continue. Not as a surrogate who did his job and left. As a parent. If Kiet will have me, I will, Kiet says from his seat, voice breaking. Always. The judge's expression softens. Mr. Affichat, please approach. Kiet stands on shaking legs. Side by side at the front of the courtroom, we wait for the verdict that will define our family. I'm restoring your parental rights, the judge says. Joint custody between Mr. Affichat and Mr. Srichan, effective immediately. The courtroom erupts. Kiet's lawyer is shaking our hands. Reporters scramble for their cameras. Apparently our case made the news. Kiet turns to me, tears streaming down his face. You did this. You gave me my children. We gave each other a family, I correct. He kisses me right there in the courtroom, and I don't care who's watching. 2 weeks later, my water breaks at 2 a.m. I'm crossing the living room when it happens. A gush of warmth and sudden panic. Kiet! He appears instantly, hair wild from sleep. One look at my face tells him everything. Hospital now. The contractions start in the car, coming fast and vicious. Kiet breaks every traffic law in Bangkok getting us there. You're doing great, he keeps saying. I'm not doing anything yet except suffering, I gasp between contractions. In the delivery room, the ultrasound reveals what we feared. Baby A is breech. The doctor's face is grave. We need to do an emergency C-section. Terror grips me. But they're okay? The babies are okay? Their heart rates are good. But we can't wait. Mr. Affichat, you'll need to scrub in. Kiet's holding my hand so tight it hurts. I'm not leaving you. Kiet, if something happens, nothing will happen, he says fiercely. You're the strongest person I know. You've survived everything life threw at you. You'll survive this too. Promise me you'll take care of them if... I promise I'll take care of all three of you. He interrupts. Now stop talking and let the doctors work. The surgery is a blur of lights and voices. I feel pressure, but no pain, thanks to the epidural. Kiet stays by my head, whispering encouragement, pressing kisses to my forehead. Then, cutting through everything, a cry. Baby A is out, the doctor announces. It's a boy. Seconds later, another cry. Baby B, a girl. They're here, Kiet sobs. Niran, they're here and they're perfect. I'm crying too, trying to see them through the surgical drape. Are they healthy? 10 fingers, 10 toes each, the nurse confirms, bringing them close. Do you have names? Kiet looks at me. We decided together last week. Lying in bed, planning for a future we weren't sure we'd get. Awan, I say, looking at our son. And Aria. Sky and Noble, Kiet translates, voice full of wonder. Perfect. Recovery is hard. But waking up to find Kiet holding both babies makes every moment worth it. He's in the chair beside my bed, a twin cradled in each arm, tears streaming down his face as he whispers to them. This is your papa, he's saying. The brave one who carried you and loved you and fought. For all of us to be together. You're so lucky. We're all so lucky. You're doing the sappy speech without me, I croak. His head snaps up. You're awake. How do you feel? Like I got hit by a truck. Give me my daughter. He carefully transfers Aria to my arms. She's tiny and perfect, with Kiet's nose and my stubborn chin. We made these, I whisper in awe. We made a family, Kiet corrects. The next few days blur together, learning to breastfeed, changing diapers, stealing sleep in 20-minute increments. Kiet's mother visits, crying happy tears as she holds her grandchildren. My co-workers from the hospital stop by with gifts and terrible jokes. On the 4th day, we're cleared to go home. Kiet loads the car seat with the precision of someone who's watched instructional videos 100 times. I cradle both babies, terrified and exhilarated. Ready? He asks. No, absolutely not. Let's go anyway. At home, Kiet's house. Now our house, we spend the first night in beautiful chaos. Awan cries when Aria cries. Aria cries when we put her down. Neither of them sleep for more than an hour at a time. At 4 a.m., both babies finally asleep on my chest. I find Kiet watching us from the doorway. What are you thinking? I ask. That 6 months ago, I was signing a business contract. Today, I have everything I've ever wanted. Everything? A family, love, you. He sits carefully on the edge of the couch. I know this is hard. I know we're exhausted and terrified and have no idea what we're doing. Is there a but coming? But I wouldn't change a single thing. He kisses my forehead, then each baby's head. You three are my whole world. 3 months later, we find our rhythm. Mornings are chaos, bottles and diapers and baby babbles. Evenings are quieter. Both babies in their cribs while Kiet and I collapse on the couch. I never thought I'd have this, I say one night. Have what? Home, family, someone who stays? Get used to it, he says, pulling me close. You're stuck with us forever. Forever's a long time. Not long enough. From the nursery, Awan starts crying. Araya joins in seconds later. We both groan. Your turn, I say. I did the last feeding. Rock, paper, scissors? He wins. I drag myself up, but he follows anyway. Together, we stand over the cribs, each picking up a baby. In the soft glow of the nightlight, we rock them back to sleep. This is home, I think. Not the house or the things in it. This, Kiet humming lullabies, babies breathing softly. Love built from impossible odds. This is everything.